Hello, everyone, and welcome to the highly anticipated return of the Bookman channel. That is right. I am back now. I finished my schooling, and so I have a little bit more availability, and also I don't have any privacy restrictions on what I can do with social media now. So we should be good to go on the YouTube stuff. Um, yeah, as time has passed, my hair is longer, and I have a little bit, well, I would say a full grown beard. These are just key signs of the passage of time. But what better way to start the return to the channel than with a Wheel of Time book review? And that book specifically will be The Path of Daggers, which is book 8 in the Wheel of Time. So I started reading this series my freshman year of college. I've now graduated, and I'm only a little bit more than halfway through. I think. I'm not the best at math. Pseudo intellectuals will try to convince you that the Path of Daggers is part of the Wheel of Time slog, and that's just an incorrect opinion to have. As a red pill advocate, I'd have to say that the Path of Daggers is actually a pretty good book. Um, all jokes aside, though, the Path of Daggers I did really enjoy. I thought it was a pretty good Wheel of Time book. As for reasons why I believe this, I really enjoyed the structure of the Path of Daggers. I think it's really similar to The Great Hunt and The Fires of Heaven, for two examples. What I mean by the structure of it, the plot structure, most of these Wheel of Time books, the ones that I did not mention, the style is we have intrigue happening in the story. So we have our plot lines sort of being secured for them to cross each other or just for two sets of major big events to happen at the end of the book. And it's one of the reasons why I love the Robert Jordan's endings. He always has super great climaxes to his stories. But with the Path of Daggers, the reason I compare it to the Great Hunt and the Fires of Heaven is there's major events happening throughout the book instead of just building up to the one major one at the end. So, for example, in the Great Hunt, your first half, you're trying to steal the Horn of Valere. The second half, we're going to deal with the Shanshan. The Fires of Heaven, the first half, is the Siege of Karheim. The second half, we're going to Camelin to take you down the Forsaken, Ravin that was there. The Path of Daggers, the first half, we're doing with the Shanshan. We're using the Bowl of Winds, and Elaine is, trying to secure the throne of Camelin. Second half is Fail gets captured, Perrin's wife. Um, the Ashaman betray Rand. So it's like we have two really big major events. It's almost like two mini stories, right? We have one story, big event. Here's to comes the next story, the next big event. Also, I'd like to mention that the Path of Daggers is the shortest book in the series. And I think this is one of the reasons why I really enjoyed the pacing of this book. I didn't feel like any of the reading was too, um, I don't know. I just felt like it was very concise, especially for a Robert Jordan book. The Egwene White Tower politics did slow it down for me a little bit. Um, just sort of her trying to maneuver the system of the tower, and she's pitting some of the sisters against each other, which puts her more of a strategic position, which is important to what's happening in the world. But those it sort of loses me a little bit in those parts with her point of view. There were some point of views in the story I actually enjoyed more than previous ones. So like the Elida point of view from like the original White Tower in this one, I thought I really enjoyed. The Savannah ones were good in this one from the Shido Ale. Before she was like working with Samuel, and but it didn't they didn't come of that because I mean he eventually dies. Spoiler for the end of Crown of Swords. But this one we see here like sort of moving, struggling to gain power over the group, and then eventually kidnapping Perrin's wife. Weaving the Shanshan point of view in this book, which I learned they have Texan accents, which is pretty hilarious to think about while reading. But yeah, I thought the pacing was really good in this one. I mean, this is a hot take, but like Lord of Chaos, great ending, but I think that book was a little overbloated, to be honest. Um, Not saying I like the Path of Daggers more, but maybe. That might be crazy to say. It might be here's heresy, but I digress. But yeah, no, Path of Daggers is paced well. We have interesting points. Rand's character, I think, is takes an interesting spin. We get to see him again display his flaws, which he's pretty good at. But I really do enjoy Jordan's sort of unique take on the chosen one archetype because we get to see that Rand is like he was chosen by luck, I guess, to be the next savior of the world or whatever, but he is not the chosen one. He has flaws. He's a little bit crazy. He's manic sometimes, but we love a manic king. And yeah, he's just really just a regular guy, but you know, behind the lair of the king of Iliad and the Dragon Reborn, he is just a guy from a farm. So and I do enjoy Jordan making note of that, highlighting that for the audience. So he's not like a Gary Stew. I think there were some other good character moments, plot points in this story with Elaine and Avienda. Their relationship was pretty interesting, and to see them go through the sisterhood ceremony thing with the L. Uh, that scene in general is just a perfect showcase of how good Jordan is at writing an experience happening to someone because it's sort of like a rebirth for them because they're reborn as sisters for the ale, right? He writes it almost like from the point of view of if you were born uh, out of your mother's womb. The way he portrays that so precisely was very impressive. That scene really, if you want to be a writer, look at that scene, how he describes that experience and take notes. But not much Nynaeve in this story, if I remember much, which sucks because she's one of my favorites. There's zero Matt. I mean, you don't even get to smell him or anything. I mean, he's just completely gone from this book, which that sucks too because he's a fan favorite, and so to see him missing was a little odd. But in a series this large with this large of a cast, I understand that sometimes attention has to be completely taken away from certain parts of the world so you can really develop the other ones. But yeah, overall, I really did enjoy my reading of the Path of Daggers. Like I said, I thought the pacing was good. I went through this book pretty quick. I feel like if you're this far into the series, into book eight, all the stuff that might seem boring, like the world building and the politicking between the nations, those must have to be things that you're interested in if you're this far into this type of fantasy series. And obviously, those are present in this book. And those are the only parts really I could see being considered slow. Um, the queen just handing her throne to Perrin was a bit bizarre, but he is top Aaron, so that's just how it works. When you're the main character, that's how things go. So shout out to Jordan for being clever enough to write plot armor into his story. But overall, the Path of Daggers, I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm trying to think of things that I really didn't like, but the Rand moment with Kalendor is one of my favorite moments of the series so far because I see this scene in a different story being this like super epic moment of the chosen one raising his like magical sword and just killing all the enemies and everybody praises him. But Robert Jordan's hero can't control the sword properly, first off, because issues with Sadine and the magic being messed up for men. And the weapon, the items he's using is hard to control. And so we see our main character be sort of arrogant and impulsive and make a move that, while I could see another author highlighting it being a crazy event, like a good thing, Jordan paces it being a bad thing. Like, okay, he did kill some of the enemy and push them farther back, and he's got the upper hand in the war, but he's also killed his own men. So, Path of Daggers, Goodwill Time book. I don't really have much to say. I should probably take notes and do an outline when I make these videos. Maybe I'll do that going into the future. But overall, Slog hasn't started for me yet. I have started Winter's Heart, and I have liked what I've read so far. Um, so I can't complain. But yeah, Path of Daggers, I won't give it a star rating, but I'll give it like a 3.5 to 4 out of 5 stars. And that'll be all for this video, guys. Thank you for tuning in for the Path of Daggers review. Um, I should have a goal of uploading a video once every week. I'm gonna aim for uploading a video every Sunday. So I'll have to be creative because I usually don't finish a book a week, but we'll see. Now with I have a little bit more free time, so we'll see what we can do. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.